Our story begins with a man named Abraham and his wife, Sarah. They were very old and had no children. This made them sad because in their time, having a family was a very important part of life. But God had made a special promise to Abraham. God told Abraham that he would have a son, and that from this one son would come a huge family, as many people as there are stars in the sky. Abraham believed God, even though it seemed impossible. He trusted God's promise completely. Many years went by. Abraham and Sarah waited and waited. They were now very, very old, much too old to have a baby. Then something amazing happened, something only God could do. Sarah had a baby boy. They named him Isaac, which means laughter, because his birth brought them so much joy. Abraham loved Isaac more than anything in the world. Isaac was the living proof of God's promise. Every time Abraham looked at his son, he remembered that God keeps his word. Isaac grew from a baby into a boy and then into a strong young man. Abraham taught him everything about their family and about the God who had given him to them. Their life was full of happiness, built on the foundation of a miraculous promise. One day, when Isaac was a young man, God spoke to Abraham. He called Abraham by name. Abraham answered by saying, "Here I am." God then gave Abraham a command that was very difficult to understand. God told Abraham to take his son Isaac, his only son whom he loved, and go to a mountain in the land of Moriah. There, Abraham was to offer Isaac as a sacrifice. This command made no sense to Abraham's human mind. It seemed to go against everything God had promised. If Isaac died, how could there be a great family from him? How could God's promise come true? Abraham's heart must have been filled with confusion and great sadness. Yet, Abraham made a choice. He chose to trust God even when he could not understand God's plan. Early the next morning, without arguing or delaying, Abraham got ready for the journey. He cut wood for the fire, saddled his donkey, and took Isaac and 2 of his servants with him. He believed that God was good, even when the instructions were hard. He set out on the long walk toward the mountain, holding on to his faith with every step. The journey to the mountain took 3 days. For 3 long days, Abraham walked with his son, knowing what he had been asked to do. He must have thought about it with every single step. Isaac, who did not know what was going to happen, walked beside his father. Finally, on the 3rd day, Abraham saw the mountain in the distance. He told his 2 servants, "Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there to worship. Then we will come back to you." Did you hear what Abraham said? He said, "We will come back." Even now, Abraham trusted that God had a plan, that somehow both he and Isaac would return from that mountain. So Abraham and Isaac went on alone. Isaac carried the wood for the sacrifice on his back. Abraham carried the knife and the fire. As they walked up the mountain, Isaac asked his father a question. He said, "Father, we have the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham looked at his beloved son and gave an answer filled with faith. He said, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the 2 of them continued walking up the mountain together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham got to work. He built an altar from stones. He carefully arranged the wood on top of the altar. Then, with a heavy heart, he tied up his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Isaac trusted his father completely and did not fight him. Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to sacrifice his son. At that very moment, the angel of the Lord called out from heaven. He shouted, "Abraham, Abraham!" Abraham stopped immediately and said, "Here I am." The angel said, "Do not hurt the boy or do anything to him. Now I know that you truly respect and obey God, because you have not kept your only son from me." Abraham looked up, and there, caught in a nearby bush by its horns, was a ram. God had provided the sacrifice. Abraham untied Isaac, his heart flooding with relief and joy. He took the ram and sacrificed it on the altar instead of his son. Abraham named that place, "The Lord Will Provide," because on that mountain God gave him what he needed. Then God spoke to Abraham again. He said, "Because you have done this and have not kept your son from me, I will certainly bless you. Your family will be huge, as many as the stars in the sky. All the nations of the earth will be blessed because of your family, because you obeyed me." Then Abraham and Isaac went back down the mountain together. They returned to the two servants who were waiting, and they all went home, forever remembering the day God tested their trust and showed them that He always provides.